Let's start with this. And hi, Jesse. A columnist for the Toronto Star wonders how grocery shopping has changed for everybody because he says now that he has to be more efficient and make a list before he goes in, he's now realizing just how much time he wasted in the past. So, how has the grocery shopping experience changed for you?
I want to first start with Deborah on Facebook, who wrote in and said, I've been ordering my groceries online and having them delivered. It's disappointing that a lot is missing when I get my order because of lack of items in the store. I'm a healthcare worker, so I'm really trying not to step foot in a store if I don't have to.
Yeah.
First of all, Deborah, thank you for being a healthcare worker and doing what you do. And I mean, I just would say this is one of those after effects, I feel like, in many ways, of people who were hoarding right at the beginning. And it's really caused this kind of ripple effect in the grocery store chain, which is so disappointing. I have to say, though, that I used to find that going to the grocery store was one of my daily pleasures. I know this is not for everyone, but I loved wandering around, fondling fruit and squeezing veggies and people watching. But the last time I went to a grocery store was several weeks ago, and it was like I was in enemy territory. It was a horrible experience. I felt like, you're not social distancing, get away from me. It was just, it was so unpleasant. I vowed I would not do it again if I didn't have to. So now we've been kind of doing this online grocery shopping and doing it for pickup, but we've also discovered some little tiny places. And I have to say, this past week we had ordered from a small company, and we got in these jerk chicken sausages, and Jason and I were eating them, and it was like a religious experience. It was like the heavens opened up. So I'm not sure I will ever go back. Like I might, it's more expensive, but you have to be choosier and make things last longer.
Well, Melanie on Facebook wrote, now when I shop, I get everything I think I might need without hesitation, in fear that it won't be there in 2 weeks when I go back. Pre-pandemic, I would go to the store once a day just to get a few things. Well, like you, Melanie, I never went to the grocery store and did like sort of meal planning at all. I'm lucky to live in a neighborhood where at the end of my street, everything is just sort of there. There's a butcher, there's a baker, candlestick maker, probably even an artisanal one. So I could just get everything that I needed on the day. But now I'm getting a great deal of, Cynthia, pleasure from meal planning. I get to be in charge of it. And, it's actually quite a bit of work. You have to sort of open up all your cupboards, make sure and bring out all the recipes and do this checklist. And then going to the grocery store once a week, I go on Mondays. It's actually been quite pleasant. I mean, there's always a big line, but it's quite civil and it moves very quickly. Just the other day, a guy, while he was unloading his groceries into his car while everyone wait, he started blasting Tina Turner's Private Dancer from his car. And there's just this lineup of people just like dancing. And it's like, thank you, sir. Thank you for bringing this little bit of reprieve and joy.
That is so awesome. And Tina for the win every time. Crystal on Facebook also wrote to us and she wrote, I'm a public transit user and I would go to the big discount stores, but now to avoid the crowds and the buses, I go to the little market, like I think you were saying, Jess, across the street from my apartment. It's a little more expensive, but I feel safer. And safety is the thing. I was relating to what you said, Cynthia, that it feels like it's get in, get out, try to stay away from people as much as possible. My heart breaks because I look at the people who are working, essential workers, and I know that they probably are scared. Maybe some of them don't want to be there, but have to be there. It's a really funny feeling. I've only been out shopping once this whole lockdown so far with Marquesa. Wow. I will never do it again. I've been online shopping and it's contactless, like pick up, drop off stuff, but it was terrifying because at the time it was a smaller place. Nobody was observing social distancing. So I found myself, do I touch that food? Do I not touch that food? Where's my daughter? Who's she talking to? Why is everyone so close to one another? It was the most stressful experience I've had in a very long time. The flip side, however, is businesses who are stepping up to the challenge and realizing they got to move their business online if there's a shot at survival. And our local produce, it's a Chinese family. They've been there forever. And that is where everybody in the neighborhood goes to get their produce, but it's small. And so they shut down. And I was like, oh my gosh, where are we going to get our produce? They quickly, they were very nimble, got a website going. And now for the first time this past week, it was the most pleasurable thing. I was almost like virtual picking my pomegranates and my avocados, and I put it in my basket. They picked everything. I walked up to the window and I said, 277, that's my order number. Came, everything was already paid for online, in and out in 2 minutes with Marquesa. That was it. And you know what? I hope that business as a result is going to be around for a long time to come.
It's so good that local businesses are being innovative and doing what they have to do. I get to the grocery store about once a week, but I want to bring in Auntie Stacy's comment on Instagram because she works in a grocery store. She says, I work at a grocery store, so the only change is I shop after we close. So as a grocery store worker, she's shopping after. And I buy a few things at a time. Half of the cashiers have taken their leave. So as you can imagine, the rest of us are picking up the slack. Grocery shopping for my house is the last thing I want to think about. So, you know what? Things have changed. When I go once a week, sometimes, there's a lineup and, trying to get in and get out. But here's the thing that I do now that I didn't do before, is thank people. So the guy, when I walk in, he's disinfecting the carts. I say, thank you, and ask how he's doing. Any cashier that checks me out, they're gloved. There's now a plastic barrier. They've got masks on. I'm making sure that they're seen. Like, I can see you and I appreciate your sacrifice. So I'm just being sure to do that all the time because they are making one.
That's so nice. That's so nice. Yeah.
We've had so many comments from our viewers chiming in on this. Sorry, I just wanted to get in Vicky's comment on Facebook. Vicky says, it's unfortunate that in grocery stores, most shoppers don't respect the 6-foot rule and are insulted when you ask them to give you your 2 feet. So Mel, I think that relates to what you were saying.